I'm Jo Colwill from Cowslip Workshops, which I've built up over the last 25 years. This is Helen, who works for me, who helped me with the quilt. This is Eileen, commonly known as the Secret Slave. And this is Sandy, who quilted the quilt. The quilt is called Over the Hills and Far Away. This is the second edition. The first edition was called Dancing with Daisies, that got second prize 2 years ago. And one horrible Christmas, just before Christmas, when it was raining, this blue fabric, the landscape fabric, which is a Macawa fabric, arrived on my doorstep, and there's a clump of trees near where we live, and it just so reminded me of that clump of trees. And my gran used to live there, and my dad was born there, so it just felt right. And I knew exactly what I wanted to do with it. I'd thought about doing a daisy quilt. So then after that quilt, I moved on to this, and this is like the summer daisies going into more autumn. So I hand quilted, this was the daisies, the round daisies, gone over into the more autumnal flowers. And then because my family live in Norway, I love the little red houses that are down here somewhere, and that's what gave me the idea of the name as well, Over the Hills and Far Away. I do a lot of appliqué with Bernina and with blanket stitch and raw edge quilting, but I wanted to do this by hand. I have my kind of way of doing appliqué where I have my pattern and I lay it on a light box and draw on the back of the fabric after I've pieced it together, and then I lay each piece on individually and hand stitch it down. This quilt was actually entered last year and I just didn't get it finished. There's probably about 2,000 hours work in here, including the quilting. So Eileen last September helped me to finish the appliqué. So it's the appliqué that is the special part. I also love choosing the fabrics for the piecing that's meant to be the countryside around. My mum would say I've always been naughty. I've always been mad on horses and sewing. And I sewed to keep my horses, and then it took over. And now it's like my whole life. I do it 7 days a week. And 22 people work for me now, which is a bit scary really, but we're all, I think of them as a big family, and even Andrew, our chef, is into quilting. It's like a whole lifestyle, isn't it? It made me cry last night. It's been really busy, and I'm busy building a new Bernina room, and I did stay up until 3 o'clock, like several nights. That's not unknown for me. So when the lady rang me last night, I thought she'd rang me to say the quilt was too big or I'd been eliminated or something. And when she said I'd won, I cried. So I was amazed. I love my quilts, and I don't do them specifically to win. I do them because I love them and the fabric. I just love the fabric, and actually I love my Bernina that I've had for 30 years, and just Bernina for piecing with the 1/4 inch foot and the walking foot in my other sewing. The sad thing is I can't do all my quilting, and I think about 8 years ago I met Sandy, and she quilted a quilt for me that I'd half done, that was entered in a competition, and it had to be finished in 2 days. And Sandy just picked up on the rose quilting and everything, and ever since then we've become friends, and Sandy does the quilting, and it is quite outstanding. We've done like shadow around the cow and things, and it is lovely. I wish I could do it all myself, but there's not 1,000 hours a day. I think you should just follow your heart. There are things that help you to piece things more accurately with rotary cutting. When I first started, we used to draw around templates, but rotary cutting and the 1/4 inch foot gives you a good start, and then you don't get get disheartened if everything doesn't join together properly, but just follow your heart, and if you want to do something bad enough, you'll do it. And it's like sharing with everybody that's the really important. Friends all help together, and last week we had a quiltathon instead of having my summer fair, and it showed me the true friendship of quilters. Everybody brought their machines, and from all around the world people had given me blocks during the year, and we made over 65, I think it is now, quilts for the homeless. And everybody came, brought their machines, sat there and sewed their socks off, really. But the friendship and everything was quite amazing. People came that I didn't know. So it is the friendship and the love of the fabric and love of all sewing together that is the thing that will make you do it.